Good evening, Whisky Buddies. It's Vic here again. This is my 6th night in a row when I've been broadcasting my wee drams that I've been tasting from my Maltesers Whisky Selection Box, kindly given to me by my good pals down at the Really Good Whisky Company. Great fun it's been. I really enjoyed it. We've had Scotch whisky, we've had one Irish whisky. And the good thing about this box is it's not just Scotch. There's whisky from all over the world in it. And tonight we're going to the States. On this Sunday night. I hope you've had a good Sunday. Hope it's been a good weekend for you. I had a great Sunday. We've got our church started again. For those of you that don't know, I'm actually a minister as well as a whisky expert. So our church is back up and running again. And I had a bit of a day off this morning because I managed to get somebody else to preach. That's always good. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed your Sunday as much as I've enjoyed mine. What have I got tonight? Well, we're going to have an American whiskey tonight. This is one called Wistlepig. And it's a straight rye. 10-year-old, so it's quite old for a rye whiskey, quite old for American whiskey. Interesting story around about this one. It's a straight rye. That means it's 100% rye in the mash bill. So if it's bourbon, it has corn and other stuff. But this is rye whiskey. So this is just called American whiskey, 100% rye, so it's straight rye whiskey. It was distilled actually in Canada and then finished off in Vermont, which, if my geography is right, is somewhere in America. Thomas, if you're listening, you can tell me where about Vermont is. Haven't a clue, but it's in the States somewhere. So it finishes its maturation down in Vermont. Uses virgin American oak to finish the maturation. So I'm expecting, because it's rye and because it's in virgin American oak, I'm expecting masses of vanilla, masses of coconut, that kind of sort of bourbon-esque kind of flavours coming out of the oak. So let's go have a taste of our Wistlepig Straight Rye. I'm a bit wary of nosing it and tasting it because the guys at a Really Good Whisky Company who I've been doing the blind tasting with have kind of got me down as having a bit of a reputation as not being very appreciative of American whiskey. Now, maybe it's not that I don't like American whiskey, but when you do a blind tasting and you've got 5, you're tasting relative to the others. And I have to be honest, I always prefer Scotch. So it's probably that I'm comparing the rye whiskies and the American whiskies to some good Scotch. And Scotch always comes out on top. So maybe my comments around the Americans have been a bit negative when it's been compared to Scotch. So I'm just nosing this on its own, not comparing it to anything. And we'll see what I think. Now, it's got a beautiful colour. I think it's the darkest one that I've seen out of the box so far. Oh, my Gordon MacPhail glass. Swirl it around. There's a beautiful golden colour. Look at that. It's really quite dark. Sort of golden brown. Now, that's coming out of the virgin American oak, coming out of the ex-bourbon casks and then the virgin American oak. So there's that golden colour. It's not dark like you get out of a European oak or a sherry cask, but it is quite dark compared to what we've seen already. So let's have a nose of it. And there's that quite woody, coconutty, vanilla notes that I was expecting because of those casks and because it's a rye whiskey. And it's got that, it's difficult to explain, it's got that distinct rye smell. To me, it's woody, it's almost chemically. sort of plasticky, petrolish kind of smell. Not unpleasant, but quite distinctive for rye. There's a little bit of fruit in there, but not a lot. So interesting nose, not unpleasant. So let's have a taste. Oh, it's quite spicy on the tongue. Quite spicy, but there's that rye flavour. Lots and lots of vanilla coconut sweetness, completely overpowering that dram. Now, I said yesterday when I was looking at the Arran cask how I love a Scotch whisky out of an ex-bourbon cask. But when the bourbon casks come over, it might sound silly to say, but they've always had bourbon in them first. And that bourbon takes out a lot of the extractives out of the wood, so that when you put new make spirit in it, Scotch new make spirit in it, and it comes out, the cask's been a bit tamed, and it's not as powerful as a virgin oak, which of course bourbon has to use. This has got masses of stuff out of the American oak. Lots of vanilla, lots of coconut, but there's that sort of not sickly sweetness, but very, very sweet sort of candy floss sweetness, kind of maple syrup sweetness that for me is just too overpowering. Now, if you like your ryes, this will be a fantastic whiskey, and it's got a great reputation. It's quite an expensive dram as well. So it is doing really well. It's got good press for being an American rye whiskey. But for me, no, it's just too sweet, completely overpowering of that lactones coming out of the American oak. Very strong sweetness, custard. There's a little bit of sort of toffee finish just on the end there. It's just coming now. But everything about it is sweetness. I'm not getting a lot of fruit. Well, I'm not getting any fruit on the palate. It's just completely overpowered by that characteristics of the rye and then the coconut and the vanilla. It's not a dram that I would go for if I was out and buying just one or two. I wouldn't buy a bottle of it. I wouldn't die kicking and screaming if somebody offered me a dram of this, but it wouldn't be my first choice. It wouldn't be my natural choice. So that is Wistlepig Straight Rye, 10-year-old, number 6, because it's the 6th of December. And that's what I thought about that one. I will finish it, though. Not to finish it would be very rude, and I don't want to be rude. And this time, a bit of spiciness on the tongue, but just boom. There's that virgin American oak and that rye characteristics. And it's just too sweet, too sugary, too candy flossish. But if you're into that kind of things, I'm sure you would really like that dram. So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday night, whatever you're doing. Have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. And remember, if you are having a dram tonight, drink responsibly because it's back to work tomorrow. Don't want to go to work with a headache. So enjoy your dram tonight if you're having one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will see you all tomorrow night. What are we going to have tomorrow night? Here's hoping we'll come back to Scotland. Number, 7? Yes. We're going to have a Loch Lomond Inchmoorin tomorrow, a 12-year-old. So 46%. So I will be looking forward to that. See, I think that's ex-bourbon cask. So it's going to be my kind of whiskey. Excellent. So it was good to see you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good sleep. And I will see you tomorrow. Cheers, guys.